Imagine you're leading a race. Everything's perfect. You've nailed every corner, managed tire wear, and kept your rivals at bay. But suddenly, through no fault of your own, your entire lead evaporates. A rule kicks in, neutralizes your advantage, and hands the competition a golden opportunity. Sounds unfair, right? Well, this isn't a hypothetical. It's real. It happens in Formula One. And it's perfectly legal. This is the story of a bizarre, controversial F1 rule that makes almost no logical sense, but still exists. It's divided fans, baffled drivers, and shaped race outcomes in ways that feel more like a plot twist than fair competition. The rule in question: safety car and lapped cars. Let's get straight to it. The rule in question involves how lapped cars are handled during a safety car period, particularly the decision to let certain cars unlap themselves. According to FIA regulations, when a safety car is deployed, lapped cars may be allowed to pass the safety car and rejoin the back of the field. This helps to ensure a clean fight between the leaders when the race restarts. But here's where things get tricky. The rule doesn't require that all lapped cars unlap themselves. It simply gives race control the discretion to allow some, all, or none of them to do so. In theory, it offers flexibility. In reality, it can skew competition and hand wins to one driver over another. Why it exists, the logic behind the madness. Let's try to understand the intention. The logic goes like this. Lapped cars between frontrunners can act as a barrier during restarts, affecting how quickly a driver can defend or attack. If a leader has two backmarkers behind him while the second-place driver has a clear run, it creates an uneven playing field. So the rule was designed to eliminate that obstacle. If you let lapped cars unlap themselves, you clear the way for a cleaner restart between the top contenders. It sounds reasonable until it doesn't. The Abu Dhabi 2021 controversy, the breaking point. This rule went from obscure technicality to global headline in December 2021. In the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen entered tied in championship points. With a few laps remaining, Hamilton had the lead, and Verstappen needed a miracle. That miracle came in the form of a late race crash by Nicholas Latifi, bringing out the safety car. Here's where the infamous decision was made. Instead of allowing all lapped cars to unlap themselves, as is typical, or none, which is also an option, the race director allowed only the lapped cars between Hamilton and Verstappen to unlap. Just those cars, no one else. That gave Verstappen a clear run at Hamilton on the final lap with much fresher tires. He passed him, won the race, won the championship. And just like that, the rule's vague wording and application triggered one of the biggest controversies in F1 history. The aftermath was chaos. Accusations flew. Fans were divided. And the integrity of the sport was questioned worldwide. The core problem: selective application. The issue isn't the idea of unlapping itself. It's the ambiguity. When some lapped cars are allowed through and others are not, the door opens to bias, or at least the appearance of it. Rules in elite sport must be applied consistently. Otherwise, the fairness of competition is compromised. Imagine if a referee in a World Cup final allowed a penalty for one team, then denied a similar foul for the other with no explanation. That's the kind of confusion this F1 rule creates. What's even more frustrating is that the rule wasn't born from necessity. Races functioned for decades without it. When lapped cars were in the way, drivers just dealt with it. It was part of the challenge. This new layer of fixing the order may have good intentions, but it's also unnatural. It interferes with what's organically happening on track. Why it still exists: bureaucracy and spectacle. So why hasn't it been scrapped? The truth is, Formula One is constantly walking a tightrope between sporting purity and entertainment. The rule gives race control a tool to help stage cleaner restarts, which the TV audience loves. It also gives organizers the ability to avoid awkward finishes, like ending a race under safety car conditions. F1 wants drama. It wants moments that go viral, clean head-to-head fights. And sometimes, that means bending logic to shape a better show. The rule survives not because it makes perfect sense, but because it helps deliver cinematic moments, even if they're messy under the surface. The fix: what needs to change? The solution isn't necessarily to ban unlapping, but the rule desperately needs clarity. Either all lapped cars go through or none do. Period. No discretion, no cherry-picking, no last-minute changes based on how much time is left. The FIA has since adjusted some wording and processes, but the fundamental discretion still exists. And as long as it does, so will the potential for controversy. What F1 needs is consistency. If you're leading a race, you should know exactly what to expect when a safety car is deployed. If you're chasing, your team shouldn't be left guessing about whether you'll get a shot at a clean restart or not. A deeper question: what should F1 be? At the heart of this rule, and the debate around it, is a bigger question. What is Formula One meant to be? Is it a pure sport where fairness and merit reign supreme? Or is it a global entertainment product that prioritizes spectacle, suspense, and last-lap drama? In truth, it's both. And maybe that's what makes rules like this so controversial. They sit at the intersection of fairness and showbiz. But for the drivers risking everything, the engineers building the perfect machines, and the fans who've invested their hearts in this sport, clarity should never be optional. This one rule may seem small in the grand scheme of Formula One, but as we've seen, it can decide championships, it can ignite outrage, and it can leave fans questioning what's real and what's orchestrated. The rule to let lapped cars unlap themselves under the safety car makes zero sense in its current selective form. And yet, it's still here. Until F1 chooses clarity over chaos, this strange piece of regulation will remain part of the puzzle. One that may decide the outcome of races, titles, and legacies for years to come. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the strange corners of Formula One, be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which F1 rule do you think makes no sense? Let's talk about it.